High performers are really good at one thing, turning suggestions into standards. You hear that waking up early is good, so now you have to do it. You hear consistency matters, so now you never give yourself flexibility. You hear discipline works, so now wellness becomes rigid. But what if your health would actually improve with fewer rules? Come on the journey with me today as we separate the helpful suggestions from unnecessary pressure. Welcome to Wellness for High Performers, where ambitious people discover the path to sustainable wellness that actually feels good so they can build the dream without burning out. I'm your host, Erica Jones. I'm a wellness strategist and entrepreneur, and I help high performers create massive momentum by weaving wellness into their daily life. In the last couple of podcast episodes, I've been talking about my recent run in with burnout and my road to recovery. We had a water leak that turned into major water damage in December of 2025. And that resulted in nearly 4 months of remediation and construction inside my house. Thankfully, we're at the end of that process. We've also been caught up in an IRS audit as well. And my husband launched two new businesses this year, in addition to the four others we have. And I manage all of the financials for those. I'm also in the process of writing a book and wrapping up the homeschooling year with my kids. We have a lot of extra help. So this is manageable on a typical day, but without an IRS audit and a major home remediation and process, like a lot of high performers, I can handle a lot of stress and pressure. But these last two things, being the audit and the home remediation, really pushed me over the edge. And as I found myself floundering and drowning under all the responsibilities I have, there were just certain things about my wellness routine that I strictly adhered to, and others that I just had to let go or make less of a priority. And I'm realizing how important this was because it essentially gave me permission to prioritize versus expecting myself to live up to a perfect routine when life circumstances were not conducive for that. How many times have you had an expectation of yourself to perform at your best or at your highest output, but you're under extra pressure or stress? High performers can be overly optimistic in that we're compelled to create excellence, but sometimes we don't give ourselves the grace when we need it. But when things are really hitting the fan, a different response is needed. It's what I call wartime. And the enemy is the overwhelm, it's the tension, it's the strain that you're feeling. And the fastest way to lose the war to the enemy is to apply peacetime strategies when strategically you need to really be ready for combat. So when I apply this to what daily life looks like during peacetime, you can get creative. You can do things like try that new workout routine or that new nutrition plan or the supplement stack or stick to whatever your ideal wellness routine or daily routine looks like for you. But in wartime, when stuff's hitting the fan, when you feel chaotic and like all the spinning plates might come crashing down, then that is about survival and conquering that enemy of overwhelm and feeling like you're just holding too much. And you don't want to totally throw out your health routine because when done right, that can really be super supportive to you. And also because it's hard to get back on track if you let that go. But the things that are optional, that's what I want to talk about today. Those things can be adjusted or totally removed until things feel more calm. So I kind of want to talk about five, what I will say are optional wellness rules for me that I deprioritized when I was in what felt like the height of chaos in my life and in my house. So the first one is getting up at the crack of dawn. This is not a wellness rule that I've ever adhered to strictly. I'm not a person that gets up super early. I don't care what guru is promoting a miracle morning. My biological clock does not prefer a 5 or 6 a.m. wake up every day. I can pull this off when needed, like if I'm traveling for an early flight or I want to add some extra time to my day, which is hard to find with four kids. But as a rule of thumb, I am prioritizing my sleep first, which means I'm usually not getting up before 6:30 a.m. on any given day. especially during a stressful time, because my body needs that sleep to heal and to recover from all of the tension, all of the buildup that I've been feeling over the days. And so I don't want to sabotage that by pushing an early wake up. And I really wanted to mention this quote unquote unspoken rule of wellness because it gets promoted as the best way to have a productive day, or it's required that you wake up early to do the perfect morning routine. And if it works for you, by all means, definitely keep going. My husband is one of those people. He's a morning guy. Absolutely love that about him. But if you're not that person, it's okay. Because if I were to wake up at 5 a.m. every day, I would probably need to be in bed by 8:30, which is just not realistic for my lifestyle. Some nights my little kids are barely in bed by that time. So if you're regularly cutting into your sleep time in the name of productivity, this is a really bad idea because the exhaustion, the fatigue builds up, the brain fog settles in, making you more prone to distraction. You can't think clearly. I honestly can't think of a more unproductive thing to do if you're in a stressful season. So, this is one of those quote wellness rules that sounds great. Everyone's out there promoting it, but if it doesn't work for you and your physiology, then it's not great. So, this is one that I'm totally fine with ditching. Number 2 is going to bed at the same time every night. This is another one of those things that I just had to relax a little bit when things felt really crazy. There is real science to support this and the benefits of a steady circadian rhythm, that going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time every day. So I am not by any means disregarding that at all. I have also been a huge proponent of going to bed by 10 p.m. because there's many benefits to this as well. You're really aligning yourself with your body's natural sleep rhythm. Melatonin, that sleep hormone, starts rising between 10 and 12 p.m. at night. And so if you're in the bed by that time, then you get to maximize that natural increase versus the later you go to bed, you cut into that deep restorative sleep. I also experienced after having all 4 of my babies that going to bed early when my sleep was really dysregulated from waking up all through the night, nursing babies, my hormones were dysregulated, my sleep was definitely dysregulated. Going to bed before 10 p.m. really helped me to get back on track. So I'm a big believer in this, and there's a lot of science to support it. But when it's a busy, chaotic season, there's some give and take that has to be considered. So this year, on top of everything else, Isaac's had a good amount of travel and a lot of webinars at night. And so with his schedule, sometimes the only time we had to see each other is at night around or after 10 p.m. when he was finished wrapping up. And so there's been many times where I've made the choice to stay up later and spend that time catching up with him. So we're not turning into two ships passing in the night. So that was really more of a relationship investment, which I mean, for me, that is for sure central to my holistic perspective on wellness. So I wanted to mention that because it's truly a balancing act. Sometimes you have to shift priorities. Not everything fits into these little neat compartments that we can, adhere to these rigid schedules all the time. It's truly a balancing act. But I'm on track now. I'm back on track with my regular bedtime because things have calmed down. And physically, this is what my body really needs to thrive and be at optimal level. The third thing I want to talk about is taking the same supplement stack every single day. Now, I will admit that I take a lot of supplements, but this is by design. It's very strategic. It's based on my functional lab work and not because I'm chasing trends or getting sucked into really good marketing. But my supplement stack just started to feel like too much. I did a bunch of labs. I think it was last summer. And I was like, do I really need to take every single one of these supplements every day, especially when things were really, really busy and I was just kind of in survival mode? I was like, I don't really think I need to do that. So I don't have a chronic condition or a situation where missing a day is going to create some kind of major negative health effect. So I felt like I was well within the realm of permission to do this. But I think many of us have believed that taking the same supplement stack every day is the goal. And maybe this came from the daily multivitamin. I don't know. But as a lot of us are taking more supplements in our regimen, I don't think it's always necessary to take every single thing every single day. So I split my stack in half and I just alternate the days that I take them. So I like to preset all of my supplements in advance. So I have a little system where I've got them in these little baggies. And so I will just grab what I need each day. So I'm not opening multiple bottles every single day. So my goal with this is just being able to be consistent over idealism. And this method allows me to make my supplement regimen, which is important to me, part of my routine without it feeling like a huge chore. Number 4 is going super hard with every workout. So I work out probably 3 to 4 times a week, and like many high performers, I battle with all or nothing mentality. And when I say workout, I mean like a structured workout. I like to use free weights, I will do Pilates, I use apps or videos to kind of follow a routine because I don't like the mental work of trying to figure out what I'm going to do when it's time to work out. I know a lot of people that are fitness gurus, they're really into fitness. They're totally down for being creative and coming up with a new routine each time. I don't like that. I just like to press play and just follow along. So when I talk about working out 3 to 4 times a week, I mean like a structured routine. I work out 3 to 4 days a week, but I have battled with all or nothing mentality, meaning that unless I'm leaving puddles of sweat on the floor, I'm like, did I really do anything? Did it count? And so that's something that I'm very aware of. But when I hit peak stress, and I hit that point a couple of weeks ago, and I was just feeling really overwhelmed, sometimes pushing our body hard when we're feeling that kind of stress isn't the right thing to do. And it didn't feel like the right thing to do for me at the time. It was just this instinct that I had. I was like, I really don't think I need to go super hard with this workout today. So I wouldn't skip my workouts, but I would choose one that was less intense, less demanding, one that would get me in action, but not one that was going to tax my adrenals beyond what they were already handling. And so I actually, as a result of this, made a low intensity workout list so that I could have a go to option that was just plug and play whenever I needed it. So I wanted to share this because we've been made to feel like you have to go all in or it doesn't count. But for high performers, this can actually backfire when you're pushing yourself past your limits, when you're already stressed and your system's already taxed. This can create more fatigue and exhaustion, and it just can make it take a lot longer to recover. And we definitely don't want that. Number 5 is making every meal from scratch. This is one that I was really big on at the very beginning of my wellness journey, like 17 years ago, because I was learning so much about processed foods and what was in them. That was really all I was eating at the time was fast food and processed food. And in general, I love to cook. So making food from scratch wasn't a huge setback for me. But here's what I'll say. My kitchen has been gutted the last few months. I just got back in over Easter weekend and it's been wonderful. We ended up doing a big renovation after all that water damage. So it's kind of like a lemons to lemonade situation. And it's been very much worth the wait. But during the process, I was in this small basement kitchenette. We had a sink, we had a dishwasher, which I was very grateful for, but no ovens, no cooktop or anything like that. There was no way for me to cook every meal from scratch. And I don't always do that. I like to cook, so I cook a lot of my food. But we did do a lot of takeout and mostly cooked food on the grill and reheated food in the toaster oven. And so if you're not able to make every single meal from scratch, it's okay. I'm not even able to do that sometimes when things are pretty smooth. There's just sometimes when days get crazy or my dinner plans don't work out. And when that happens, I kind of have a backup plan. I have option. There's a great place around me that makes these little frozen chicken pies from scratch with really good ingredients, and I'll buy those up and put them in the freezer. And so I have a backup plan if I need one. But even if you don't have something like that, I think letting go of the ideal and just saying, hey, I will order the healthiest option that I can find from my meal delivery app or whatever that is, sometimes that just has to be the thing that's okay. These days, there's a lot of restaurants that have some healthy options, even though they may not be perfect. But if you can just get by during a busy, chaotic time, I would do your best and don't let this be one of those things that adds extra stress to your life when you're already juggling so much. My main point here is that wellness is supposed to enrich your life. It's supposed to be supportive. It's not supposed to be another source of stress or a rigid system that you have to follow. If you're a high performer, you're already reaching for the stars. You want to create rhythms that amplify your life, not things that are trying to control it. So, a lot of this is about finding what works for you and feeling comfortable and confident enough to rest in that. And as long as you're making progress and moving forward, you are definitely on the right track. So, thanks for tuning in today. I hope this episode gave you a fresh perspective or practical insight that you'll bring into your daily life. And remember that you can build the dream and protect your well being at the same time. If you want more support and to continue conversations like these, head to elevays.com. That's ELEV as in victory, AYS.com. And join me inside the Elite Edge, my weekly inspiration email for high performers like you who want to thrive while they achieve. It's where I share insights you won't find anywhere else. And until next time, make time for what matters and keep showing up as the high performer you're created to be.